There is a sound that means a washing machine is about to die, and once you have heard it, you never forget it. You start the spin cycle, and instead of a smooth hum, the machine begins to roar, louder and louder, like a jet engine winding up in your laundry room. That sound is a bearing going bad. And here is the maddening part. That bearing, the actual part that is failing, is a small steel component that costs about $20. But on a great many modern front-loading washers, that $20 part is going to total the entire machine, and it has almost nothing to do with the bearing itself. It has everything to do with a design decision made in an engineering meeting about how that bearing would be held in place. Tonight, I am going to show you that decision and why it quietly turns a $20 problem into a $400 funeral. Let me explain what this bearing actually does, because it is doing one of the hardest jobs in the whole machine. When your washer spins, the inner drum is whipping around at high speed, and it is often loaded unevenly with a heavy, wet tangle of clothes. The bearing is what lets that drum shaft spin smoothly while carrying all of that weight and force. It takes a beating, every single spin, for years, and there is a rubber seal meant to keep water out of it. Over time, that seal wears, and water and detergent creep past it into the bearing. Water and steel bearings do not get along. The bearing rusts, it roughens, and it starts to roar. That is the jet engine sound. It is a normal wear item, and on a well-designed machine, it is a routine, expected repair. So let me show you how the old machines handled this, because it is the whole point. On an older, serviceable washer, that bearing sat in a housing that was built to be opened. The outer tub, the stationary tub that holds the water, came apart, usually held together with bolts or clips. A technician could split that tub open, press the old worn bearing out, press a fresh $20 bearing in, put in a new seal, and bolt it all back together. It was labor, yes, a few hours of it, but it was a real, sensible repair. The machine got a new bearing and went back to work for years. The design assumed, from the start, that this part would wear and would need to be replaced. Now here is what changed, and this is the reveal, so stay with me. On many modern front loaders, from several of the big brands, the engineers stopped making that outer tub something you can open. Instead, they seal it. The two halves of the plastic outer tub are welded together at the factory into one permanent unit, with the bearing pressed inside it. There is no splitting it open. There are no bolts. And because the bearing is now trapped inside a sealed tub, the manufacturer does not even sell the bearing by itself as a repair part. What they sell you instead is the entire rear tub assembly, the whole welded tub with a new bearing already in it, and sometimes the inner drum along with it. And that assembly does not cost $20. It commonly costs $400 to $500, just for the part. If you have ever been told that a noisy washer is not worth fixing, and you want to know the real reason why, then subscribe to Still Running, because tracing a repair bill back to the exact design decision that caused it is the entire purpose of this channel. Now let me do the brutal arithmetic, because this is where the machine dies. Add it up the way a repairman has to. The part, that sealed tub assembly, is $400 to $500. Then add the labor, and the labor is not small, because getting to that tub means nearly dismantling the entire washer, pulling it apart down to its bones and building it back up. That is several more hours. So now the total repair, part plus labor, is pushing well past the price of a brand new machine, on a washer that may have only cost $500 or $600 when it was new. And so the repairman gives you the only honest advice he can. Do not fix it. Buy a new one. And out to the curb goes an entire washing machine, motor, computer, cabinet and all, because one $20 bearing wore out inside a tub that was deliberately sealed so you could not replace it. Here is the rehook, the thing I really want you to hold on to, because it matters. This is not wear and tear defeating you. The bearing wearing out is normal, and always was. What defeated you is the packaging around the bearing. Sealing that tub did not make the bearing last one day longer. It did not make the machine wash better. The only thing it accomplished was to make the eventual, inevitable repair uneconomical, which quietly converts a repairable machine into a disposable one. The wear was always going to happen. The design decided what that wear would cost you, and it decided the machine should die. And you might reasonably ask why they would build it this way in the first place. Part of the answer is cost. Plain and simple. A tub that bolts together needs machined surfaces, gaskets, threaded holes, and a proper bearing seat built to be opened and closed. And all of that costs real money to make. A sealed tub is just two pieces of molded plastic welded together in seconds on the line, with the bearing dropped in once and forgotten. It is simply cheaper to build. So from the factory's point of view, sealing the tub shaves a little off the cost of every single machine, and the price of that decision, the $400 dead-end years down the road, never lands on them. It lands on you. They saved a few dollars up front, and you inherited a machine that cannot be repaired. And you do not have to take my word that this is by design rather than by accident. Listen to the people who were in the room. One retired engineer, who spent his career in quality systems, described watching the industry move towards sealed modules that the user was specifically prohibited from opening or fixing, parts you were simply not allowed to service. That is not a rumor. That is a man describing his own working life. And the owners feel the sharp end of it. One wrote, plainly, about paying $350 to repair a washer that had cost $500 just a year and a half earlier. When the repair costs most of what the machine cost, the machine was designed to be thrown away, whatever the brochure said about it. Consumer Reports, for what it is worth, lists the drum bearings right up near the top of the failure points on front-loading washers, alongside the door seal and the control board. So this is not a rare freak event you can dodge with luck. It is one of the common ways these machines reach the end, and on the sealed tub designs, that common ending is a death sentence rather than a repair. It is also worth knowing that not every machine is built this way, which proves the sealing was a choice and never a necessity. Plenty of top-loading washers, and especially the commercial-grade machines built for laundromats, still use a bolted, serviceable bearing setup, because a laundromat owner would never accept a machine he has to throw away over a single bearing. Those machines get their bearings pressed out and replaced, and they keep running for decades. So when a salesman tells you that a sealed tub is just how washers are made now, understand that this is simply not true. It is how some of them are made, on purpose, and you can still choose the kind that was built to be opened and fixed. So what do you actually do with this? First, before you ever buy a front loader, this is a fair and powerful question to ask, and almost no salesman will be ready for it. Ask whether the tub bearing can be replaced on its own, or whether it comes only as a sealed tub assembly. The answer tells you, right there, whether you are buying a machine built to be repaired or a machine built to be replaced. Second, take care of the seal you do have. Leaving wet, heavy loads sitting and slamming the machine with unbalanced loads wears that bearing seal faster, so gentler use buys you time. Third, if you already own one and it starts to roar, get a real quote before you spend a dime, and do the math honestly. Sometimes the answer genuinely is to replace it, and that is exactly the trap, but at least now you will know it is a trap and not your fault. And step back and look at the scale of it for a moment. Every one of those washers that gets scrapped over a $20 bearing is an entire machine. Hundreds of pounds of steel, plastic, copper, and electronics headed to a landfill years before it ever had to go. Multiply that by the millions of sealed tub machines sold every year, and the true cost of that one small manufacturing shortcut is enormous, and none of it shows up on the price tag you paid at the store. A repairable machine is not just cheaper for you over time. It is a machine that does not become a mountain of scrap the very first time an ordinary wear part gives out the way it always eventually will. I am not telling you every front loader is a scam, and I am not telling you bearings should last forever, because they never have. I am telling you something narrower and more important. A $20 wear part was sealed inside a tub that cannot be opened, so that the only repair on offer is a $400 assembly that costs more than the machine is worth. The bearing did not betray you. The decision to weld it shut did. Once you can see that decision, you can shop around it, and you can stop blaming yourself for a machine that was quietly built to end this way. If you want more of these machines opened up, and the exact design choices that doomed them, named out loud, then subscribe to Still Running. Then the next time you hear a washer start to roar on the spin, you will know that the sound is not really the bearing dying. It is the sound of a decision, made years ago, finally coming due.